waited to do for so long. All those memories that could have been made were sadly interrupted. I would miss everything because we didn't want to be late for school. If we would have just waited to text, just slowed down and just taken the tardy, everything would be the same. If the accident had been real and Megan, Jennifer, and Marte had really died, I realized they wouldn't make it to our graduation. There would be no more memories made with them. All I can do is cherish the ones that we've made so far. When I think about what our graduation would be like without them, those 3 empty chairs with their cap and gowns just laying there. And if I had really been hurt, you can't take that back. Your bones and bruises can be healed, but your emotional wounds will haunt you forever.
My name is Teresa Dombrowski, and I also was a crash victim. My sister, Jennifer, Haley Curry, and I were on our way to school. I was speeding because we were late, and on top of that, I was texting. I used to always text while driving, but I can guarantee that was my last. The last thing I remember from before the accident was my sister screaming for me to watch out because apparently someone was swerving. When the car finally was at rest, I woke up and called the police. The car was in pieces. All was quiet except the sound of me screaming for my sister to wake up and any help at all. Seeing my sister there terrified me and made my blood run cold. Haley was in the floorboard when I woke up, and we kept screaming and asking each other questions. When they pulled me out of the car, I kept asking, "Where's my sister? How is Haley?" They told me that Jennifer died on the scene, and Haley was going to be just fine. Just knowing my sister died because I was not paying attention really hit home. My sister and I were very close. She and I did everything together and talked about everything together. She was my best friend. We especially grew closer since I hit high school because a lot of our friends are the same. When I needed help or advice, she was there to help me out. Since she was my only sibling, when my father dies, I will have no one left. I no longer have that best friend to go to when I need help or advice, or just need to talk. Now, every time I come home from school, I won't ever see her face. When I get ready for school in the morning, I will drive to school alone. People always talk to everyone like they're going to be here the next day, but the truth is why not. God takes anyone at any time. If any of you have lost a close family member or a friend from a car accident, you know what I'm talking about. That is probably the hardest thing, just knowing I'm not going to see her again until I die. Or at least she is in a better place. My father cannot even look me in the eye anymore. When we got home that night, he and I just sat there in silence at first. I busted into tears. He did the same. You figure after you cry for a few hours, you would run out of tears. I was wishing I would. I just could not stop. 6,000 teens die a year from car accidents. From drinking, texting, or just not even paying attention. Don't be one of the 6,000 like my sister was.
Our guest speaker is Mr. Gary Chumley. He's had 3 kids graduate from Gatesville, 2 of which have been in car accidents.
Thank you, Shay. As she said, my name is Gary Chumley. The only qualifications that I have for being here is that I have 3 children, and I've received this phone call 4 times. 3 of them have been in the last year and a half. In our society, we tend to insulate our children from death and from consequences of these car accidents like this. This program has brought it all home. I've relived several of these moments. Please excuse me, because this is very difficult. I've been very blessed in that I did not lose any of my children in these accidents. 2 out of these 4 accidents, there was fatalities. One of them was my father. My father was killed. I received a phone call. It was on my birthday when I received the phone call. He was sitting in the church, in the foyer of the church. He worked part-time for a funeral director. He was in the middle of the funeral. He was sitting there waiting for the funeral to be over with. A pickup came crashing through the front of the church and hit him, crushed him up against the wall. The driver was 3 times the legal limit drunk. It was 10:30 in the morning. The driver is in prison right now. He's serving 8 years. He's just completed his first year. The most recent accident was last August, and there was a fatality in that one. And that was still too fresh on my mind for me to go into. Many of you know my son, his 2 friends that were involved in this. When I received that phone call, my wife and my youngest son, Zane, we went to the scene of the accident. We didn't know that there was a fatality until right before we got to the accident. We met the ambulance carrying my oldest son out. When I pulled up to the accident, my wife was in tears and she said, "Park where I can't see it." And so I did.